Greetings Fire Emblem fans, and welcome everyone to Chapter 8 of my Fire Emblem 6 low turn count playthrough. Before going in the explanatory chapter, we need to manipulate the base stats of some enemies, most importantly 2 soldiers that needs to have 2 or less luck so we have a crit chance on them. It is done by burning 12 runs with Lance and suspending the game. Chapter 8 is notoriously known for being excruciatingly long, as we have to go through multiple long corridors to reach the boss and the treasures behind him, so it should come as no surprise that this map is going to be the longest one of this playthrough. Since the main objective is pretty straightforward, however, this also means that we will be able to properly train all the units that we need to train. So, Sue and Shanna. Shanna doesn't need that much more training. After all, she already maxed out speed, and is already quite a monster. However, Sue is still only level 1, and can pretty much only fight during player phase, since she's bow locked. Since we just got the barrier staff, Sol is going to have an even easier time to use staff every turn, so there isn't much to worry about on that part. The first thing we are going to do here is give Sue her first kill with a 1% crit on the soldier 150 random numbers away. Sue only has 3 crits at base, which is specifically why we needed to manip enemies to have less than 3 luck earlier. Sol will start with Barring Madness for HP and staff rank. After Zealot burns 2236 errands to prepare for the enemy phase, Drake will rescue him so he can be dropped 1 tile ahead of Marcus on next turn, while Boris will be rescued by Noah, as he's going to be pretty important in this chapter. Lina, the lone mage in the cell in the middle of the map, will move 1 tile left in order to avoid being killed by the archer that menaces her. Finally, Lance and Marcus will rescue drop Sue 1 tile ahead so she can reach their next target on next turn with a long pull. The reason we had to burn so many random numbers earlier is that we need Sue to dodge one of the 2 enemies that will attack her on top of gaining another 1% crit on the archer, which will need her perfect level up bot res. If you run the math, this is a 0.001% chance to happen. We also were joined at the start of the chapter by Soulful. He's our second thief and the last thief in the game. Compared to Chad, he has an incredibly better durability and combat parameter, and a nice C-rank sword. Ultimately though, he is a thief, so his thief utility is really all that matters. On turn 2, we burn 39 random numbers from the start so Roy can get a 2% crit to kill the soldier. We'll get around to talk about it later as well, but Roy desperately needs 2 more levels before the end of the chapter. Sol will get his first level by healing Sue, getting a perfect level, and Sue will get a 2% longbow crit after to kill the soldier. Meanwhile, I think it's time to talk about the crazy rescue chains that are going on here. Our units are set up in such a way that every time a cavalry gives a unit, they can immediately pick up another one and move forward with them. Noah does so with Boris and Chad, who both need to reach the treasure room in the middle fairly fast, Boris by turn 6 and Chad by turn 8. Trek is doing it with Zealot and Shanna, A to bring Shanna up ahead, and B in order to reach the web in 12 turns. Rescuing Paladin A with a Cavalier, and then dropping it with Paladin B allows Paladin A to be 1 tile ahead of where he could be without rescue drop, and will be referred as the Paladin Scooch from now on, courtesy of Dolan15141. We'll need a few more still in this chapter in order to kill and clear it as fast as we need. The second enemy phase required 3129 random numbers to burn, which we did with Shanna on a multiplied by 4000% video speed. We need Sue to be hit by a 64% hit, Zealot to get a 4% crit on the knight, then miss a 77% display hit, and then 268% javelin hit to 1 round KO the mage that will attack him. If you do the math, it has a 0.06% chance to happen. Turn 3, Sue will get her second level up against the knight weakened on AP, which again is a perfect one, 897 random numbers away, clearing the way for Zealot to move all the way forward. He will be able to take and drop Shanna in the front line with him so she can clear the way and get some EXP. Zealot actually equips the Horslayer to deal with the Horslayer Knight that will attack him. It's the highest might weapon we have outside the Silver Lance with 11 might, which is going to leave the Knight at 2 HP. Turns out Horslayer are not just good at taking care of the cavalry, but Armor Knight as well. Boris will attack the soldier, miss it, and take some damage. Lance is also going to start rescuing Roy. Meanwhile, Noah gets a 2% crit to kill the soldier and gives Chad to Marcus, who will drop him near the front line so he can steal the chest key on the Horslayer Knight on next turn. We do need the Horse Layer Knight to miss Zealot, as otherwise he would take too much damage. Shanna will get a level up as well during the EP, getting everything but resistant. Note that she maxed out speed on the previous chapter, so we don't have to bother with that stat until she promotes. On turn 4, we can actually get the chess key on the Horse Layer Knight with Chad. Now obviously, that kill can go straight to Sue. She is in range to kill it with the Iron Bow, but since we're setting up a version of the Paladin's Scooch, we need to clear the way before Marcus or Zealot moves, so Longbow it is. Lance will drop Roy next to the Paladins, and Marcus and Zealot will be rescue dropping Lance one tile ahead of them so to set up next turn's rescue chain. Boris will also be picked up again for later rescue chain. Roy will be dropped here as we need to rescue chain Lance on next turn, so that means he will be able to heal one of the archer on next turn as well. Enemy phase 4 is pretty simple, as we just need Shanna to dodge both archers, as well as Soul to dodge the archer who will harass him throughout the chapter. All the hits that Soul takes or dodge on this chapter are on purpose, as all those 1 EXP he gets will add up to give him just enough EXP to level 10 later on. Turn 5 is going to be yet again more rescue chain preparation for next turn, this time between Zealot, Marcus and Shanna. Zealot will first kill the soldier blocking the way with his iron axe, and then be rescued by Marcus and taken back by Shanna, who will equip her javelin. Lance will be able to bring Boris over to the front line, right where he needs to be for next turn. Noah and Trek will be able to set up kills for both Sue and Roy, and both will get perfect levels outside luck for Sue, respectively 1355 random numbers and 648 random numbers away. The big difficulty on this map is killing the boss while taking the treasure in the second treasure room, as there is a lot of valuable items in there. The guiding ring to promote Soul, and the Elysian whip at the far back to promote Shanna, as well as a secret turn. Under normal circumstances, it takes optimally 13 turns, realistically 14, for a Paladin to charge the whip. But thanks to the Paladin's Scooch, Boars, and some epic 500 IQ strats, we can get all three treasures at the same time in 12 turns. The next enemy phase is again just about dodging archers, which was an easy 9 rounds away. On turn 6, we're joined by new allies, 1D, Barth, and OJ. Barth is a joke character who has way too high defense and 16 con, making it impossible for him to be rescued by the majority of the cast, and gets fried by any mage that looks at him funny, while OJ is basically Dig but worse. Wendy, however, is a true queen here. She joins at level 1, which means she has as many levels as possible to grow, and has some insane growth everywhere, with 85% HP, 40% in strength, speed and skill, and she can throw javelins as well. Sadly, she's too far away for this chapter, but don't worry, she'll get some action soon enough. We're going to use Marcus to open the door to the treasure room, and then use our good old tin can boars to dance him after he gave everything to Marcus but his one-use javelin. Remember, we set up that javelin back in chapter 6 thanks to a crit on the soldier by Shanna that saved the use. This allowed to kill off Boars with no items in his inventory. Now that Marcus can move again, Shanna will give him back Zealot, and Marcus can drop him ahead in the treasure room, saving a turn. It didn't save any extra tile though, since we had to lose one to get the dance. We still need to find a way to save a tile to reach the Elysian Whip, not in turn 13, but 12. Anime 6 did require 799 irons to burn, which we did with Shanna, so Lance doesn't die, as well as obviously getting a dodge with Soul, who is still grinding EXP here. Lance also needs to miss the Knight and the Soldier once, so we can feed them all to Sue, who has so far killed at least one enemy every turn. Turn 7 is finally the time for big rescue chain. First, we need to get rid of the soldier that blocks the way just now, which Noah can do just fine. Trek will give Roy to Lance, who will give him to Zealot, who is right now ahead of everyone. Zealot will then open the door and stop near Luna's cell so Marcus can drop Roy in front of it. We'll start to set up something similar with Astolfo, who will need to steal the chest key of the Killer Lance Knight at the bottom, as well as all lockpicks of the reinforcement sieves that will pop on turn 10. Meanwhile, Sue will keep on killing enemies getting a perfect level up but res on the Thunder Mage, 991 random numbers away. OJ will burn 74 random numbers for next EP. Again, a simple one. We need Sue to dodge two 30% hits by the Knights and try to hit by the soldiers twice. Turn 8, we finally free Lilina from her cell, who gets a Thunder Tome by talking to Roy. Lilina is a level 1 mage who joins with lower bases than our current Lu, most importantly with a mediocre speed of 4, so she'll have a lot of trouble killing anything on her own. Her growth reflects her bases as well. She has an amazing 75% magic growth, but a terrible 35% in speed, which means casually she will have a lot of trouble doubling anything. But since you can rank all her levels, it doesn't matter that much for us. The reason why she's going to be the star here lies in her nice C rank in Anima, while Lu right now is only halfway through D rank. Considering FS6 only giving 1 EXP for every use of any item, it is very huge since we want our mage to reach A rank tome by the end game so we can use bolting. The promotion of female mage also gave +3 speed over only +1 for male mage, which is appreciable for Lina. The other really nice thing about Lina is that she pretty much has an instant support with Roy, which gives them both more attack and crit chances, which will come in handy to train her. Meanwhile, we did a really nice rescue chain to bring Astolfo towards the killer Lance Knight. Barth gave Astolfo to Noah, who in turn gave him to Shanna, who gave it to Lance, who finally dropped him. Lance then gets to be on the front line here, as he is rescue dropped by Zilad and Marcus, so we can set up the final Paladin Scooch that we need to do to get the Eldian Whip in 12 turns. While all this happens, Sol got another perfect level up but Resin Luck, and Sue got to kill the 1 HP soldier on the left in a way to bait out the Hellfire Mage in the second treasure room. Chad will enter the treasure room, ready to pilfer everything in that room for the next 4 turns. We do need to protect him however, so OJ will block the entrance. The next enemy phase is again pretty tight and requires 222 RNs to burn. We need the Knight to miss a 58% displayed hit on Lance and take a 3% crit in retaliation, so we can easily fit that kill to someone that needs the XP. Turn 9, we'll be able to get the support between Roy and Lilina. We are bringing OJ over with Noah as we'll need him at the end of the chapter. Shanna gets to drop Trek in the corridor, which she rescued during the Astolfo rescue chain earlier. Sue is positioning herself so she can again bait and kill the Hellfire Mage on the enemy phase. Chad starts to pilfer the treasure room, getting the light ring. He will also get a Night Crest, Hellfire Tome, and Killer Bow on the next rounds. We're doing the final scooch with Zilla, Marcus and Lance, placing Marcus in front. The next enemy phase is a pretty hard one to get, so we need to burn 3223 RNs, and the only one in a good position to do it here is Sol, which is why we had to put the speed at 6400%. So we need Sue to dodge a Knight and the Hellfire Mage, killing the Hellfire Mage and get an HP, Strength, Skill, and Speed level up. Marcus needs to hit then miss the Excalibur Mage as well, which is 75% displayed hit. Again, running the math, it is a 0.1% chance to happen. Astolfo is just in range to steal the chest key on the Knight, so he can get that before we kill him. We still need the XP on Roy before the end of the chapter, and we don't have much time or enemies left, so the kill on the Knight is going to Roy over Lina, as he still needs 1 more level. Marcus, Lance and Zilla will get ready to drop Roy next to the throne for next turn, killing the Excalibur Mage in the process. Sue gets to use the steel bow that she's had in her inventory since the start of the chapter to kill the Knight with a 5% crit, which was surprisingly easy to get, only 3 random numbers away. On turn 10 is also when both thieves appears, and we're going to steal their lockpicks. In order to prevent them from running around too much, we're going to stop them from splitting, so we'll block the way to the top with Astolfo and Lina, forcing them to go to the left. We'll also position Shanna in a way she can most efficiently burn her RNG on the next turn, as we'll have a lot to burn then. Second to last turn, Astolfo steals the first lockpick, and we're going to start training Lilina by letting her kill the thief with a 5% crit. Rescue Chain is starting for Roy, who will actually have to kill the boss with her rapier. Trek will give him to Zilad, who will drop it in front of the boss. Since we want the boss to die to Roy, we'll rescue Zilot out of the way with Lance and drop in next to Marcus so they can get all the treasure minus the Silver X in the final treasure room next turn. Sue is going to kill the last enemy around, getting a level up with all F stats, 114 rounds away. She went from level 1 at the start of the map to now level 7 with some very solid stats. We'll trap the second thief on the small corridor, with Noah at the top and Lina and Astolfo at the bottom left. We'll also finally move Soul out of harm's way, as he has been bartering all turns now. Then, to prepare for next enemy phase, we need to burn 7,688 random numbers. Video speed is of 9,600%. So the difficulty here is that in order to kill both the knight and the boss with Roy's rapier, we need the first crit on the knight and then a double crit on the boss. Even worse than that, we also need to get the strength and speed level up on Roy, so we actually double the boss and deal enough damage with 2 crits. We can hardly manip for anything else, so we'll take whatever levels that the game gives us. Turns out those are pretty good! That surprised me because Beam Crash, who originally made the strat that I'm trying to recreate and basically reverse engineer, had some much worse levels than that. Turns out it's because the whole strat I've been doing on this chapter didn't require as many burns, 16,000 less in fact, which means I missed some earlier seeds that worked earlier that snowballed up to this point. It just means that I can go for easier level ups on Roy later on, but until then I'm just hoping the strats will still work with the extra stats on Roy. Final turn is mostly just cleanup. We'll get the secret tomb with Zilla and the guiding ring with Lance. Marcus gets to pick the illusion wood. Janna will kill the last enemy left alive, getting just enough EXP to get her final level before promotion, which is a perfect one. Astolfo steals the final lockpick, while Noah will weaken it as that one thief, strangely enough, has too much luck to give us a chance to crit, as we also want to fit that one to Lina, and she gets a perfect level up 137 random numbers away. With that down, Roy can seize the throne, and we're finally done with chapter 8 in 12 turns. The next chapter is our first Gaiden chapter, as we are going for true end, and for which we simply need to keep Lina alive, which is rather easy. See you next time for chapter 8X.